Hey everyone, welcome back to the Champion Forum podcast where I am on a mission to help others lead, inspire, and win in this life. Today we're embarking on part 2 of a 2-part series as I discuss the top 5 reasons that employees will stay with your company. I hope this is resonating with you. If you're listening to this and you haven't listened to part 1 of this series, go back there first where we talk about the value of work-life balance and the value of putting purpose to people's work. Go check out that episode and then come back for this episode. But we're diving in. Make sure also that you tune in next week. I don't want to forget this point. Next week, I'm going to be taking a deeper dive into how the greatest organizations are winning big with work-life balance. But let's dive into reason number 3 that employees are going to stay with your company. Reason number 3, career growth, learning and development. I'm kind of putting it all in one mesh there. Career growth and learning and development. Basically what I'm saying here is, how are we making people better? When we make people better, they are more compelled to stay. There is a significant difference between making money and building wealth. Is that true? I believe it is. If you think about the two things, though, they're both nice. But making money is kind of fleeting, isn't it? Building wealth requires skills. You want to make more money, just post up open to work on LinkedIn and you'll make more money probably by the end of the week. Somebody will be willing to pay you more. But how long is that going to last? How sustainable is it? In order to grow and advance and build wealth, what you need is skill. And creating a culture inside your organization that prepares people to accelerate their career is a fantastic way to retain people. Why? Because they see value in it. When you invest in the development of people, in essence, what you're telling them is, they're valuable. We believe in you. We want you to be better. Statistically speaking, if you look at the data, people that move into new jobs internally, meaning promote from within, are 3.5 times more likely to be engaged with you and your culture than those that just stay in their current role and rinse, repeat for the next 10 years, right? Not to mention, a sense of gratitude starts to take place inside of your culture. Why? Because they're buying into you, the leader. It's you, the leader, that's investing in them. It's you, the leader, that's making them better. So the normal person, I would say, the majority of society, if you make somebody better, there's a level of gratitude that comes with that. Now there's a personal connection. There's a deposit. Now that doesn't mean that if you do this perfectly, you're not going to have any turnover. Because I know, I've been bit by this, and you have too, where you pour your whole life, your blood, sweat, and tears, your heart and soul into somebody, and they just quit you anyway. Well, that's going to happen. That's called business. That's not a right to not develop people, right? And learning and development, it doesn't need to always be this significant, grandiose, budget-killing cost initiative. And sometimes I hear that from people. It's like, hey, what are you doing as far as career growth and learning and development? Gosh, we looked at it, but it's just not in the budget. It's always in the budget. It is always in the budget to develop people. It's great. It would be outstanding if you could have, a world famous trainer come in. Have me come in and do training. Not that I'm world famous, but I'm not free. That's for sure. Have someone like me come in and offer executive coaching or deliver a full day workshop to your team. However, if that's not in your budget, do not let that stop you. There's no excuse to not be doing employee development and career development with the people on your team. You can hold in-house skills training and product knowledge training. This costs you time, but not more than time. You could have some of your best vendors come in and provide training on equipment or products that you all sell or use. You could start creating a library of books that will help others grow and review the book with them. It's going to take you some time. Wouldn't cost you much other than the cost of a book. And I will tell you this had a huge impact on me early in my career. You may have listened to a prior episode where I talked about the first book that I ever read. One of my leaders gave it to me, Lead the Field by Earl Nightingale. I had never read a book before that. But not only did he make it required reading, he talked to me through the chapters. How would you apply this? How would you grade yourself on that? And I'm like, wow, there's a lot of great stuff in this book. And I started to implement what was in the book. And guess what? It was good stuff. And it made me better. So when I became a leader, guess what I did? I brought all my books from home in, put them in my office, and I created our own little library. And I would rank them on these are the best books to read. That way they can maximize their time. There's a lot of things that you can do to develop people that don't cost you a dime. You can assign, a lot of people are doing this. They assign my podcast as an option to their leaders and print out the show notes and review them with their team. So they'll be like, hey, listen to Hancher's show, comes out every Thursday morning or Friday mornings. We're going to go into the conference room. I'm going to print the show notes for everybody, and we're going to go around and we're going to dissect the questions for thought and the application activities. By the way, these are free. And if you're not signed up for our show notes, go to jeffhancher.com, homepage, right down at the bottom. Just click submit, and they come to your inbox every single week. What a great resource, says the guy that created them, right? To maximize this at no cost to you other than time. It's literally built-in training that you can use for your team. Cost you nothing other than the paper that you print them out on. So you could send specific employees articles that you read that you're like, wow, Joe would really benefit from this. Maybe send them a YouTube video in the areas that they need to grow. Maybe somebody's looking for public speaking and you found a good video. You send it to them and then you ask them, what did they learn? How are they going to implement it? This is all career and growth development. And what it's telling the employee is you care. Look inside at some of your best-in-class employees. Have them deliver presentations on topics that are in their strengths. You know, that one employee that's really good at selling that widget, like have them present on that. Help your people find a mentor, whether you're in a small or large company. Even if you're in a small company, don't let that be an excuse. Help them find mentors. This will change how the earth moves around them, is getting them around people that have been where they want to go. Cost you nothing. Development is no longer optional. This isn't just a perk that we throw out there as leaders or reserved only for certain positions. Listen, once you get promoted into this role, then we start to really develop you. No, how about we start developing them in the onboarding and it never stops? From the day they sign up to be on our team, as long as they're on this team, they are going to continue to get better. It's expected in today's workforce, and it's something that we can't ignore. Reason number 4 that people will stay: feeling valued and respected by you, their leader. This is a big one. And look, I get it. You might be saying, well, Jeff, respect is earned. And quite frankly, if you knew Sally on my team, she's far from earning my respect. I get it. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I am saying it is a top 5 reason. You have heard this saying that people do not quit companies, they quit leaders. You've heard this. And by no means am I saying that you can pay people unfairly and expect them to stay. Well, Jeff, we pay people dirt, but you know what? We got great leadership here, so that's why we pay them so poorly. I'm not saying that. Time and time again, this dynamic between employee and leader continues to be among the top reasons why people stay. The benefit of having a great leadership culture, leaders that help people feel valued and respected, is this: you don't have to break the bank on labor and overpay for labor. You can pay people a fair and maybe slightly above fair salary, commission, benefits, whatever it might be, and retain them because your leaders are world class. It's far less tempting to look for the greener pastures, the road ahead, what could be. It's hard for people to be tempted to look for greener pastures when their leader treats them with dignity and respect. They don't know if they're going to get that at the next place, but they know they have it here. That's going to make it at least challenging for them to leave. Leaders play a huge role in creating this culture. Huge. So you can make the argument that the biggest opportunity for employee retention is to develop the leaders within your company. What are you doing to develop the leaders within your company? Maybe you're a leader listening. What are you doing to develop yourself? Do people respect you? Do they feel valued by you? So how do we tackle this elusive subject? Because you might say, well, Jeff, that's relative. How do we tackle this subject of ensuring people feel valued and respected? How do we go about this? Where do I begin? I really think you need to break this into two categories as you're thinking about it. And we got to look at the practical needs of our people, and we got to look at the personal needs of our people. And I know what you're saying. Oh, Jeff, I'm not touching the personal thing. No, sir. Not bringing that into the workplace. Suit yourself. But I'm telling you, these are the two areas that when you go deep in these two areas, people feel valued and they feel respected. What are they? What are the practical needs? Well, they want you to reach a decision. People want decisive leaders. They have a practical need that a leader can help resolve conflict with them and another employee or on the team. What else do they need that's practical? They need you to develop solutions. They need you to be a problem solver. They need their leader to help create plans on how to approach tasks and projects, right? They need a leader that's steering the ship. They need a leader that can plan the implementation of change and see organizational change from launch to execution. But there's also these personal needs that everybody has, that every employee in your organization has. And it might be a moving target. But there's some things that we got to be thinking about that are personal needs. What are those? Well, they want to be heard. They want to be understood. I didn't say you had to agree with them, but they want to be heard and understood. They want to be respected and valued. And you might say, well, you obviously haven't met Tom on my team. Tom is a human being. He may have some calluses and a hard shell, but I believe every human being wants to be valued. I think people want to be trusted, and they want to be willing to trust you. But we got to earn the right. I think there's a great personal need of every employee to feel involved, attached to the mission. I think by and large, there's a personal need that people want to feel supported. They might not vocalize it. They may not give you the body language. But I believe these are personal needs. Whether they're asking for it or not, we got to be ready to deliver. The last area in this category that I would suggest is to give them your time. Nothing is more valuable than time. That's why I'm a big advocate of one-on-one debriefs. Have robust one-on-one discussions that involve setting goals with your individual team members, having individual development plans, setting clear and reasonable expectations with every member of your team. Embrace the tough conversations that inevitably you're going to need to have with them at some point. Why? Because these are the very things that are going to allow them to grow. Isn't that how you grew? Aren't you glad for the leaders that were willing to have the tough conversations and give you their time? And be consistent doing these things. Because when you do, what you're doing is you're cultivating engagement. You're driving productivity on your teams. And what you're really doing is you're reducing the chance that your employee is going to look for opportunities elsewhere. Because why would I? I'm getting everything that I need here. The grass is green here. I don't need to go over there and eat grass. I like the grass that I have. And look, it's hard. I know it is. And you're going to have turnover. The goal here is to increase retention. And then number 5. The number 5 reason why employees might stay with you and your organization is that they enjoy working with their colleagues. Man, you might be saying, Jeff, this did not come in the leadership handbook. How can I control whether or not they like each other? Well, let's talk about it. But what I do know is that people feel a level of camaraderie are more willing to stay. Why? Because not only are they giving up you, the leader, but they're giving up the entire team. The ones that they've went the battle with, the ones that they have lost with, the ones that they have won with. It's hard to leave a team when you're deeply connected to it. And this is a huge one and cannot be overlooked. Stronger emotional ties to the organization significantly lessen the likelihood that somebody is going to jump ship. What do? Well, look, organize fun activities. Have fun in the workplace. Well, Jeff, we're here to do business. I think you can have great results and create a culture that is energetic and fun. I know you can. Monday motivation. You know, maybe you have a Monday team meeting. We used to do this on our team. And every person was assigned a certain time of the month that they would start the meeting off with Monday motivation. It was a YouTube video, a quote that they liked, that they talked about, whatever it might be. This did two things. It got the entire team talking, and the person that was presenting, it gave us all an understanding of what makes them tick, what drives them. Look, other things that we did. Anytime somebody had a new car on our team and we found out about it, hey, boss, man, come check out my new car. I just got a new Chevy Impala over the weekend. Here's what we would do. We would all jump in that car and go to the nearest convenience store. Now, you might be like, wow, Jeff, that led to retention. It seems like the dumbest thing, right? I just wish that you could have been on one of these car rides. Now, look, I don't know. Hopefully the law of limitation has passed, right? But we probably had more people in that car than we had seatbelts. I'll just say that. The convenience store was like a quarter-mile away, but that was kind of part of the fun, is like people were sitting on their laps. We got music blaring, bass pumping, the best recent songs, everybody singing. We get to the convenience store. I'm buying snacks and coffees. Everybody's carrying on. It took about 15 minutes, literally, there and back. But everybody knew, hey, everybody, Chad got a new car. No way, let's go. It was the craziest thing. It literally cost me, I don't know, $50, $40 maybe, to buy everybody donuts and coffee. I don't know. But oh my gosh, did these people look forward to it. We celebrated birthdays hard. I'm talking like we went nuts. We did pranks on each other for birthdays. I remember one time somebody did saran wrap around some dude's car. I'm talking about, like, I don't know, 50 boxes of saran wrap. Couldn't even open his doors, had to cut through it with a box cutter. Craziest things, right? And I know my former HR team is probably like, good Lord, I'm glad this guy's not with our company anymore. But I'll tell you this, we had a good time. We did team lunches. I remember one Thanksgiving, we did a potluck for Thanksgiving, and I came in, like, I'm dressed up like a pilgrim and whatnot. And for those of you that know me personally, this is going to crack you up. I deep fried a turkey for the entire office. I have no business in anything culinary. I'm talking nothing culinary, but I'm like, could I have bought a fried turkey? Yeah. Could I have delegated the mission to somebody else? Yeah. But when they saw me dressed up, with the pilgrim hat and whatnot, and here I am deep frying a turkey, I almost caught the entire front lawn on fire, like, unbelievable. But here we are, we're having a good time, we're laughing, and then we're all sitting around the table, and I said, hey, you know what? I just want to share what I'm thankful for. Hey, this Thanksgiving, what are you thankful for on this team? Wow, what a bonding event and fun. Man, I'm going to tell you what, we used to laugh hard. Now look, when it came down to business, there was some crying and tears and pain, right? But man, if you're going to make big withdrawals, can't we just make big deposits and create a team that's hard for people to quit? Here's other things that you can do to create this environment. Cross-train. Cross-training gets those that don't work together often to get to know one another. It's not just the guy that's down the hall on the right. No, that guy is Tom. His name's Tom, and this is his job function. And this is what he does, and you're going to spend the day with him to get to know him and his job. Another thing that you can do that I will tell you is probably undervalued because people don't want to give up a day out of the office or a half day out of the office is community outreach. Volunteer in your community. Man, I used to go from city to city when I was a regional director. We would serve in homeless shelters. We would serve in children's centers. One time we spent the entire day in a national cemetery just washing the tops of headstones of veterans in a cemetery. Didn't say much while we were doing that, but man, we were fulfilled. I remember once we went to a local community park and just cleaned up brush and litter throughout the park. And then we would do a team building event at night, and we would just talk about the day and how we felt good about that. You can encourage teamwork by assigning group projects, taking away from isolation, have people work together more, provide opportunities for team building activities as it relates to their work. When employees work together towards a common goal, it promotes collaboration. It promotes communication. It promotes a shared sense of purpose. Now what I'm doing is I'm busting down the silos and I'm creating collaboration. You can do this fun environment by celebrating individual wins. What are they? Well, it doesn't have to be you were the number one employee in the company. It could be like you improved over last week. Let's celebrate that. Go crazy for birthdays. Go crazy for work anniversaries. Buy yourself a little helium balloon kit. Get after it. Whatever you got to do. Get the streamers out. Decorate their cube or office. Go nuts with this stuff. Celebrate the milestones. This is fun stuff. The bottom line here is to create an environment that is energetic and fun. Well, Jeff, I'm not really the energetic and fun type. Well, you better find somebody on your team that is and make them an ambassador, because not doing this is not helping you. We got to create this environment, one that fosters communication, transparency, and engagement, positive relationships with colleagues, and a supportive team environment. Man, will that contribute to employee satisfaction and retention. Leaders that focus on encouraging collaboration and teamwork, they create a strong sense of belonging. And this is very encouraging to the employee, and it'll compel them to stay maybe a little bit longer, engage a little bit deeper with their work. Look, we went through 5 reasons, and by now you might be thinking you have a lot of work to do, and you would be right. You may be asking yourself, how are you going to fit all this in to your already busy schedule? I didn't say it was going to be easy, but take a moment and count the costs of not doing this right, because you felt this pain to some degree. Think about this. I read an article recently that said, on average, a company spends $98 a day on a vacant open position. And in some cases, it's probably more than that. But on average, $98 a day, every day that passes that you have that open requisition, it's killing your bottom line. How about this stat? It takes an average of 42 days to fill a job vacancy, while you have customers that need you. They're counting on you to fill that opening. And it's going to take you 42 days. That's also painful. Not to mention the time that we spend on recruiting, interviewing, and onboarding people. That is exhausting. It can take 1 to 2 years for a new employee to reach the same productivity level as a high-performing employee that leaves. How are you going to day one when you have a tenured peak performer leave? How do you recover from that? The answer is you don't. You don't. It could take months or years to ever get back to that level. Listen, there's probably an endless list of topics that we could have added to this 2-part series. But I do believe this. If you put a significant amount of effort into just these 5 things, these 5 areas, you will see a decrease in turnover. And you will have a culture that your team can thrive, and they're not going to want to leave. Are you going to have turnover? You certainly are. But I think you can minimize the risk. And if we can support your efforts in any way, never hesitate to email us at info@jeffhancher.com. Until next week, keep giving your team your very best and never stop turning the pressure into potential.